Hello, everyone. How are you all doing this very beautiful and absolutely wonderful Monday afternoon? Hello, Femi. Sahid Badebo got in first, followed by Femi Akimbuli. Hello, Lotus, Isioma, Chinedu, Didi. Good morning. Looks like Instagram is a bit slow. Okay. Am I on the right Instagram handle? Okay, I can see Joy Praise them coming up. Okay, Facebook is up. Greetings, Jigga Collins. How you doing? Jigga Collins is the love man. He's always doing relationship and marriage, and he's a love man. I'm happy that at least we have somebody in the house who is leaning towards relationships and counseling and all that. I'm proud of you, bro. Don't forget, guys, our t-shirts are available. Just contact Jigga Collins. He's right here on YouTube. We're going to do our charity feeding this Friday. I think Taste Buds wants to handle it alone and doesn't want any contributions. But contributions will probably be open for next month. If you have a t-shirt and you want to join us, you could get in touch with Jigga or Irene, and they'll let you know where we'll be going to feed the poor on that particular day, so you can be a part of it if you are interested. All right. So today is more. I realized that my Friday message was very scripturally heavy, and yesterday's message too was quite heavy. So I want people to spend a few days watching those messages over again and reading those scriptures so they can be in line with what I was trying to explain out of the Bible, so it can minister to you personally. If you do have time, just study those, and always remember, study the Bible in context. Don't copy one line here and run with it. It doesn't work for us like that. Okay? Now, today I said I was going to have a more relaxed. We're going to gist today. It doesn't always have to be heavy Bible, because that day when my own disciples called me and said, we are watching the video over and over again, I said, Jesus, I'm in trouble. And man, I have to watch that video again. They were using style to say that it's a bit deep. But I believe that by now we should have gotten there. I really want to push us forward, because we haven't started teaching spirituality at all. We're still teaching, as far as I'm concerned, this is kindergarten Bible class. Do you understand? We have to start we still have to get into, I don't know, we might not be able to do it this year, because we need to move mountains. We need to speak in tongues. Not that joke that they are doing in the Pentecostal church. Oh. No, please. Oh. The day the devil they are calling with that thing they are saying will come down and start slapping them, you will be a witness to it. Okay? So please help me so we can move. I would slow down if you want me to slow down, but I don't want to slow down and remain. You see, what they did, what our teachers of Christianity did, was they dumbed us down to a certain level and just kept circulating us in that level. Let me tell you what the Nigerian Christianity had become. Pay your tithe, sow your seed, your enemy will die, raise altars for your children. I'm looking for other things they used to include. Pay your first fruits. Be afraid of your pastor. Touch not my anointed. Then they'll go back again to it. Was just a vicious cycle of everything but nothing. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. I want us to be able to move mountains. I want us to get to the place of understanding in the spirit. You see, John chapter 4 is one of our buttress Bible verses. If you don't know the truth, you can't serve God. And you also can't serve God in the physical. So when they are building all this temple up and down, what you actually need is the Spirit of God in truth. I don't know what they are trying to do. So we need to go beyond. We are still in the truth. We've not entered the Spirit. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. We need to get from. Now we are teaching the truth. And I'm reinforced. I find myself teaching over. And you saw somebody that came to my daddy phrase. The tithe is in the Bible. And you are saying we should not pay tithe. Why should we not pay tithe? I have 250 videos on YouTube. Maybe I'm even exaggerating. How many videos are 150? I don't even know again. Let me just look at the exact number and tell you. This is the number of videos I have on YouTube. And I can tell you a quarter of those videos are dedicated to teaching on tithing. Tithing is a principle that works, blah, blah, blah. When are we going to get beyond it? In Nigeria today, that they are still stealing pennies and tithing is working. Is it working for the person stealing the pennies or the person that whose pennies was stolen? I want to ask. Jigga Collins said at least 70 messages on tithing. I'm Googling myself just to show you how many messages we have out there. Daddy Freeze, my videos. I'm opening it. For those of you who contributed to my data, some people contributed to my data last month. I really, really appreciated that. I'm sorry, I mean this month. Up until then, it was mostly me sorting myself out. Okay. It's not showing the number of videos, but I know there are many, many videos. You know? And I taught tirelessly and timelessly about tithing. So if right now you are still battling with tithing, I don't know where to start from. So that's what makes me sometimes look like my message is not moving forward. Because the people are not moving with me. And I don't want to get somewhere. Then they'll say, Daddy Free is a wizard. This one that he's doing now is wizardry. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. Because if you don't follow me in the truth, by the time the Spirit starts to kick in, it will look like we are doing witchcraft. And it will look like the witchcraft is happening to only a set of people, another set is not receiving it. But you need to follow me in the truth. So please, spend your time, read all these things. They're very, you see, there's nothing in the Christian Bible that is difficult to explain. So first of all, I wanted to discuss today a post by Ali Baba, but I think I'll rather end with that and start with a few other posts I saw. There was a post I saw on Instablog earlier on today. I want to discuss it. Let me just open it up. This post. By a guy called Sonu McGee. A girl picked from the club can't make a good home. The best place to get a wife is in the church. Majority of failed marriages was done. It's supposed to be is done or were done, but was done outside church. Church marriages last longer than others. I want to ask, did Oyakilome do his own marriage inside shrine? Did Okotie do his own marriage inside mosque? When you people are talking, you be using your sense now. He now said, only an irresponsible and stupid wife will buy property without first asking her husband. Your husband owns you and everything you have. Even okay. You know? So sorry. We're having power problems in my estate, so they keep switching. So I have you guys separate networks. So if one goes down, just bear with me for 2 minutes. They are switching power. The next one comes up. Now we don't have power, but I have a backstep. Make sure there's always power supply and always. Anyway, the guy goes on to say, only an irresponsible and stupid wife will buy property without first asking her. Let's discuss this line by line. It is not irresponsible of a wife to buy property without asking. I have watches that are more expensive than some people's lands. So you cannot say what people are talking about. The price of watches are always going up. And it is in dollars. So no matter what you want to do, the dollar still up and down. So it's fixed, it's steady, and that's property. So am I going to now sit down and consult my wife like Oracle? Of course I have to inform her. So the word irresponsible is not nice. He could have chosen a word like, or he could have said, it's wise to consult her husband before getting property. And the same goes for a husband too. It's wise. But they can decide at the end of the day that they don't want to share getting property. And the same goes for a husband too. It's wise. But they can decide at the end of the day that they don't want to share. Your relationship is also what you make it. The way I don't think there's anything I want to buy in my life and I don't think there's anything she is yogurt or ice cream or something that is inconsequential. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. So yes, women want to buy with their husbands, but it's not written in stone. If you have a husband that's done you before, you have used your property to go and borrow money, anything, the responsibility comes from knowing that this is what you're encouraging her. So we've got that. He now went on to say, your husband owns you and everything you have. I have thought, your husband does not own you, oh mumu. Your husband does not own you. Your husband is not a demon, so he does not possess you. That owning being is demonic possession. It didn't come from God, it came from demons. When one man believes he owns a woman, or a woman believes she owns a man, that's why you see your man with another woman in a restaurant and you go and slap your man. If you see your father with another woman, will you go and slap your father? Because you don't own your father. He is your father, the same way with your husband. You don't own him, you've not bought him. Are supposed to be committed to one another. You guys are supposed to be responsible to one another, but it does not mean you own. They are not your property. A man is not a woman's property, and neither is a woman a man. That's straight. This is the highest of irresponsibility. Your husband owns you, and even before you help a family member, he must be aware. Well, I'll explain that part this way. If my wife and I are struggling to, I'm taking care of this bill, I'm taking care of this bill, you are taking care of that bill. Because you're going to take out of the finances we're using together to run the home, I think I should be aware, because you wouldn't like it if I took out of our money that's supposed to be used to run the home to run my extended family. It doesn't work like that. So, yes, women should tell their husbands if they want to help family members. Unless it's like 5. But if it's a major bulk, like somebody needs a 250K, you have to tell your husband. Not because of any two of you are contributing to the success. It's like a co-pilot and a pilot. Jigga will understand this. Everything the pilot does, the co-pilot calls out, and that's how they can fly a plane. Everything. Down to we have reached our minimums. When you want to take off, full throttle. A pilot will announce V1. That means they've passed the speed where the plane can slow down. At that point, whether it's bomb on board, the plane must take off. Once you announce, you hear that V1 and it goes into the brain, what's that thing called? That orange box. Oh, black box. It goes into the black box. Once that announcement is made, it's recorded everywhere. Once the announces V1, pilot can hear that, okay, they've crossed V1. Then the pilot announces rotate. Once they announce that rotate, it means that they are at the speed to which they rotate the plane up to take off. Once the pilot pulls up the nose of the plane, he and the co-pilot are monitoring the altimeter, and they are looking on the ground at the same time to see if the plane is departing from the ground, because some planes will just raise their nose in the air and be going like. I don't know if I'm making sense to you guys. So once they announce rotate, the two of them know that the plane is rotating, it's taking off. Then they are looking at the altimeter. Once the altimeter, they are departing from the ground, they announce gear up. Once they announce gear up, it's not the pilot that now does the gear up, unless he's the one monitoring. If he's the one flying, then the co-pilot has to lift that's the tire back up. Then you see, if the co-pilot knows that he has lift, because when you lift the gear up, you charge the gear. So when it lifts it up, it's still pumped with hydraulics. So you have to now pull the gear so that it's no longer forcing hydraulics into the system. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. That is how two people fly a plane. They cannot decide that he will not announce V1, he will not call altitude. Everything he does for this airline, the pilot or the first officer and the captain must be 100% aware. That is how you fly a plane successfully. Same thing with a marriage. I don't know who understands what I'm saying. Exact thing with a marriage. Whatever the pilot, the captain is saying, the co-pilot or the first officer must be 100% aware. You cannot just take a decision. You are flying, co-pilot just decides that I want to see what happens when we drop the gear, just drops the gear, and you are flying at 0.86 Mach. About what will happen to the aeroplane, they will never forget it. So that's the same thing that happens when someone decides to take an action by herself. He goes on to say, if he says he doesn't want your job, you quit. If he's angry from work, you pet him. If he doesn't like makeup, you leave your face like that. A reasonable wife must humble herself and keep to the laws of her husband. God made men to have every matter. A wayward lady will oppose this harmless advice. This is not harmless. This is a suicidal advice, a homicidal, terroristic advice. Of course, see, I don't like makeup. I like very light makeup, but I believe a woman is fine when she's fine, and a woman is ugly when she's ugly. Tries the it just brings it out more to me. Do you understand? But there's a way. It's not that you tell your woman, no, there's a way you diss your wife. And your wife also tells you something she doesn't like. So you work together. The husband cannot have the final answer. You will not succeed. Though. The captain of an aeroplane can never have the final say in everything. No. Because the first officer will just be looking at him. And the first officer knows what he's doing is wrong. Not just look at him, and the two of them will just die together. I've seen it happen very well. So, guys, marriage is not a slave camp. It's not a demonic possession. You do not own a human being. Keep that at the bottom of your mind. I wanted to share something else. This picture, look at it very carefully. It's a picture of a lion being eaten by two antelopes or gazelles or whatever it is they are. Okay? I don't know if I'm making sense to you. Now, this is what your pastor promises you that will happen if you pay your tithe. You will get problems, as in you'll be able to overcome. The lion is proverbially the greatest problem of the antelope, but now the antelope is eating the lion. I don't know if I'm making sense to you guys. But you see, nobody gets that. You pay your tithe, so the devourer, I will rebuke the devourer. Papa, they are still stealing in this Nigeria. So the devourer has been rebuked so that they will not steal your own pennies, but they will be stealing other people's pennies, but they will not steal your own. Is that the devourer? Why don't you have a country, everything works, where people will not need pennies? Now, it now brought me to post by Alibaba is an elder in my industry, and my industry does not. My industry has very fake and greedy people. Sometimes I get so embarrassed. Sorry, guys, if the connection is bad, it's because we're using another network. The network I normally use is not available today because of the power cut. That one has an antenna on top of the roof and can only abort the network. The generators are bad in my estate, and they're trying to get parts and all that. It is Nigeria. Should we be going through this? When Alibaba posted something today, I was like, wow. I was panicking. I was like, Alibaba is going to follow these people. Oh, Alibaba is going to follow these people. Oh. Then I heaved a sigh of relief. I was like, if you I can't even show you the video because it contains a naked girl that is not wearing a naked baby child. When I put it up on my page, I had to cut their faces only. I only put their faces. I can't put people's naked children on my... What? Come on. It's like people are not even thinking. So I'm going to play it from Ali's page. I'm just going to show you then, because I don't want to have it on my page. Read what he wrote. Did they get Holy Ghost and the disciples shouted fire? Where did they get that thing from? It bothers me. Listen to what I wrote. I beg, help me and beg these young Nigerians not to kill me with laughter and weeping at the same time. I haven't heard nor read hilarious lately. We are teaching our children to worship God, while other countries are teaching their children gods. We teach our children to pray for smartphones and cars, while they teach their children to invent smartphones and cars. When our children become adults who go to church to thank God for smartphones and cars, purchased from other countries whose children have become adults who invent cars and smartphones. That's why they don't need our God, because without them, our God can't bless us. If you are expecting God to bless you with a car, the atheist that is working today to create, God has to bless that atheist first. Hello? A lesson on Jacob. But none of you spent time watching it. So that Jacob would not die of hunger, God had to bless Pharaoh. God had to reveal himself in a dream to Pharaoh so that Jacob would not. Why didn't God bless Jacob? Because Jacob could not handle the blessings of God. Sorry, build himself to Jacob because Jacob could not handle the revelation of God. First things first, you can't even manage your home. You create enmity amongst your sons to the point where they sell one of themselves. And that boy goes of Pharaoh. Same son told you a dream. You told him to keep quiet. That would the sun and the moon bow down to him. Pharaoh heard that same son interpret a dream and made him governor immediately or prime minister. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You see, as long as your blessings are dependent on other people, God has to bless them first. I don't know if I need an iPhone. For me to have an iPhone, God has to bless Steve Jobs first. Somebody said Daddy Gio said he can drive a car without fuel. Why doesn't he create a car instead of driving one that the Oyinbo man created without fuel? What I'm saying is making sense to you. For God to be able to bless you with a Range Rover, God has to bless Range Rover, the Range Rover company first, so they can business to create a Range Rover so that you can come and buy it. I don't know if I'm making sense to you guys. Baba was saying we teach our children to pray for smartphones and cars while they teach theirs to invent smartphones and cars. As praying, our solution will keep lying in other people's hands. And the best thing that God will do for us, those people over to us so that they can take care of us as we are their slaves, is what happened to Jacob. 400 and grandsons were slaves in Egypt. Why? Prayer, blessing is never enough. Ali Baba went on to say that that's why they don't need our God, because without them, our God can't bless us. It's the cars and smartphones they invent that we give testimony and thank our God in our churches for. Then we go on about boasting that it was the pastor's prayer and anointing that gave us the stuff. I used to be so bromo after going to this pastor's church and paying tithe and sowing seed. Sowing a dangerous seed. The Lord blessed me. I changed all my cars. For the Lord to buy, you can change all your cars. The Lord is blessed so that they can be in production, because if they are not in production, you won't buy their car. And go and check out all of it. How many automobile companies are owned by born-again Christians? You know how bad it is? You can't even spend your holiday in a born-again Christian country. Because you want to go to Dubai, it's Muslim. You want to go to Asia, it's predominantly Christian, predominantly Buddhist. So for you to go on holiday, God has to bless the Muslims. So that you can receive treatment, God has to bless the Hindus. So that in your household, your television, your chair, everything, God feasts. I don't know if it's making sense to you. Someone said I should have said Apple. Well, yeah, but I was saying Steve Jobs because it was his idea. He's now. But while he was alive, God had to bless him with the idea, because you wouldn't make an iPhone, would you? I don't know if I'm making sense to you. Ali Baba went on to say, we are teaching our kids that A is for Apple, and they are teaching their children how to turn apples into other products and how to impregnate apples to give birth to beautiful bubbles. We are still teaching our children the botanical names of plants while they are teaching their kids how to marry mango and orange. They are teaching their kids coding and programming in well-equipped schools while we are teaching our children how to prophesy and speak in well-equipped churches. Ali, you are not well. You are just not well originally. I have to read that again. They are teaching their kids coding and programming in well-equipped schools while we are teaching our kids how to prophesy and speak in tongues in well-equipped churches. Our children's school drama is about how a pastor or imam, while theirs is about how to relocate to a new planet. They boast about conquering Mars while we boast about hearing dreams and prophecies. We choose on tribe and religion while they choose theirs based on the solutions. Did you see the Croatian president? Fine, hot babe that drove a bus to go and pick her team from the airport. Our Baba walked 800 kilometers. He's fit for election. Donald Trump, remember. Ali Baba went on to say, we are poor yet look rich, while they are rich yet look poor. We are doomed if we don't change our mind. Please share this post until every Nigerian reads it and changes their mindset. Enough is enough. Madness means thinking the same way you used to think 10 years ago, but expecting results. If you want real change, then rebel against what embrace new knowledge for new results. As we teach our children how to worship God, let us also teach them how to become gods, because we in the image of God. We're not made in the image. Jigga, is the feed very bad on YouTube? Is it very bad? Please get complaining. One of the Jigga, is it very bad? But you can hear my voice. And I can't shut it down and bring it back up. This is what happens when you don't have power. You live in a country where you have to rely on generator, and today that the generator is not working. Wow. So let me just round off then. I'm just so sad that I just wasted a lot of time. Everything they promised us will happen if we pay tithe is what is happening to countries that don't pay tithe. The Netherlands is becoming safer, while in Nigeria, they are stealing pennies. China, everything the world is using, while Nigeria is consuming everything the world is producing. And because we don't have the resources to buy brand new, we are the second-hand market half the time for what the world is producing. And we have street. It's time that man you call pastor and start asking him questions. Pastor, why are we suffering so much? Teaching children. And that thing, that you see, that thing is so. Well, you didn't read the story on Insta blog. Oh, let me even quickly read that one. I know I don't have much time and the feed is bad, but if you can make out what I'm saying, just work with me. There's a story on Insta blog. There's a story on Insta blog. I'm still looking. Do you all remember when I did a rice experiment to prove that there is power in what you say? Same rice, identical jars, kept in different spots in the same area. Every morning and night for 30 days, I said positive things to the love rice and said negative things to the hate rice. The outcome, if you want to do it, you can try it too. This experiment lasted for 30 days. I boiled rice and put equal portions in both jars. Kept them at both. You can label them with love and hate. Every morning speak and night up to you, but you have to speak. You say nice things to the love rice, things like I love you so much, you're beautiful, you're bright, you're positive, you're a happy rice. Opposite to the hate rice. It's weird, but it really works. As the days go by, the hate rice starts to change first. Then it smells extremely worse than the love rice. It's such a powerful experiment. It does extra credit and had us do a presentation. You bet the whole class did it. A Japanese doctor, professor invented this experiment, and it's on YouTube. Other people also did it on YouTube. Hello, people. I tell you, if you carry a stone and put it in your garage and pop a mop to it, very soon the stone will start to answer you. People are just invoking or calling them positive and negative energy. Stop playing with spiritism. Oh. Playing spiritual things that you have no understanding of. You start talking objects. You want to give life to inanimate objects. You know what? How these things get life is who enter them. Listen to all this. Some people just want to initiate you into a cult, and you will not know that you are joining a cult. You are speaking positivity to rice. Speak positivity to rice, boiled rice. Many of these people, they will be forming 80s for you. They have their juju that they are serving, you know, and their juju wants new members. That's how you invite. That is how you invite a spirit into your house. Can you guys about? Hello, truth will always stand full. Good morning today. Abby. Good afternoon. So please, it's not everything you read about on the participate in or partake in. I beg you in the name of God. Thank you everyone so much for listening. Do take care of yourselves and God bless you.